Good morning, everyone. All right, we are reviewing my trades yet again, and luckily today was the third bright green day in a row this week. So ever since I got back from vacation, man, every single morning on options has been fantastic, and every single day has been green on futures as well, which is freaking awesome. Yesterday, as you guys know, I was in the mentorship group one meeting, so that typically means I'm going to show up just a little bit late to voice, but you know, I didn't expect the trade to only take 10 minutes, so there was no live trading features yesterday. But I told you guys 13 minutes before I entered the trade that I was going to enter longs at 10:35 my time, and I pinged you guys once I did, and then obviously you guys got the results. So it was a great day yesterday. Hopefully today is just as great, and it started off well. I'm gonna jump to the pre-market analysis, which is this. I came to the market pretty late. I literally got here on this candle, so I kind of had to rush to set up. But you can see that we bounced out of demand on both. I didn't know why the market was dropping. I didn't really have time to check, but it was because of GDP contracting. Quarter one GDP numbers are in, and they are contracting. But as you can see, if you hop on like the 15-minute time frame, you're gonna see this. It's kind of a broadening wedge. It kind of looks like an ascending broadening wedge. Let me see. Yeah, it's pretty much an ascending broadening wedge. This is more of a rising wedge on NQ. But anyways, we're breaking to the downside. That's the big thing. And the next big thing is on ES. You guys know me with my general liquidity and momentum analysis. I'm bearish for these blue lines. We have one right here and one right here. These are my major pivots. We haven't validated most of the move, but we did not sweep these pivots. Why did this go all the way down there? There we go. NQ did sweep a pivot, and it's in demand, so it doesn't look bad. By the way, shout out to supply and demand here. It's freaking beautiful. But NQ also still missed a pivot that happens to be in line with ES. So pretty much right out the gate, right as market opened, I told you guys, bearish for blue lines. That's pretty much it. So the market opened and looked to me like NQ was weaker than ES. Looking back on it, not. I mean, it's a tough call. ES was stronger here. I mean, these green candles were a bit bigger. ES got a lot higher than this high, and NQ barely just reared its head over it. So I just by a glance, NQ looked weaker. They looked pretty close though, but I entered NQ puts or QQQ puts roughly here. And really, I mean, it's not a good risk to award or anything. I'm really just looking for you know, roughly this next demand, and ES has two blue lines, so I'm not just looking for this first blue line. Maybe it's just a trim area. But in reality, I'm looking for both of these to break on NQ, which would put NQ, both of these blue lines to break on ES, which would put NQ right around to this demand. Unfortunately, though, right after I hop into QQQ puts, the NASDAQ flips strong. And this kind of lags my brain when this happens because usually, like, okay, if something flips strong, oh well, I'll just write it out. But the problem was the hypothesis is still extremely valid and I'm very close to my price target. So, very, 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 very hard decision, like impossibly hard decision. Do I sell? Look at the difference here. It's rare that you get this big of a difference at market open when you're this close to a PT. So at this point, I am very bearish on ES, but NQ is not looking so good, especially because it also did sweep a lower low here. It did sweep the pre-market low. So on this candle and going into the next green one, I did end up adding SPX puts here because I'm like, okay, I'll switch over from QQQ to SPX. I did trim a little bit of QQQ in the red. I didn't really have time to announce that just to de-risk. But now I'm kind of exposed because I'm heavier than I want to be. But it's like, if I wasn't in this QQQ trade, I need to be in. All I know is I need to be in SPX puts right now. And what it's looking like at the moment is I'm just going to have to stop out of QQQ, take the loss, and just make it back with SPX. That's just what it's looking like. And then maybe when ES sweeps this pivot or this one, NQ will do something like this. And I can go QQQ calls. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. But the next candle happens, and it kind of shoots up later in the candle. It finished with a selling wick. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stop out. So I was getting ready to stop out, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna wait just to see how the next candle opens. If it opens green, I'm out. But again, it's a impossibly hard decision because I mean, the last time that I was put in this situation is like specifically, I don't even know if this situation has happened to me this year. I've had plenty of strength changes, but when I'm in both trades, but you know, my bias is also extremely strong for the downside in this case. If it wasn't strong, I would have just stopped out. So, anyways, I waited for the next candle to open, and luckily it opened super red, like right out of the gate. And it looked like NQ flipped weak again. You can see that my SPX puts and ES, it opened with a green candle and broke the high of this previous little selling wick here. NQ didn't do that at all. It opened red, did this, and then just dumped. So I'm like, okay, this makes my job easier now. Now it's an easy, super easy decision to stop out of these puts the second this red body invalidates on this candle. Super easy decision. But I'm pretty much in two trades right now, which I don't really want to be in. But now ES is looking like great for this pivot. So I take my trim here. I have to, right? I was literally in two pretty much full size positions. So I took my trim here. Now they're both half size, which I should be in if I'm in two positions. So I'm back to 1x leverage now. Good. And then we just start dumping. This is beautiful. I take a bigger trim here and sell into this next candle. I pretty much just have a runner left. I'm looking for this demand to break, but yeah, I only have a runner left. Like I'm not going to hold past this. And I close the runner on this candle. So it ended up being beautiful, but it was really, really difficult decision. It's really just lucky. The decision to wait for the start of this candle literally just depends on my mood. It's one of those things where, you know, if I stopped out right there or I held, neither decision is either right or wrong. It's just a huge depends. And that doesn't happen very often. That's the first time in at least a few months that I've been in kind of a position like that to make a very, very, very hard decision. But anyways, it was beautiful. And we bounced. And when we bounced, I alerted, okay, if this bounce invalidates. By the way, the SPX puts did 78% gains. I averaged about 50% on them. And then the QQQ puts, because it, you know, was really red, then very green, it did 50% gains, and I averaged about like 35% on that ish. So bright green on the morning now. So, feeling so lucky, like very, very, very lucky, because this was also technically a broadening bottom, which is a bullish reversal pattern. It did not play out. But you guys know me, I don't pay much attention to broadening tops and bottoms. But anyway, so that's the first wave of trades. I'm like, all right, I'll take one more trade. I think this demand is going to break. I think it's got a decent chance. You know, it's only 45-minute demand. It's been tested once here. This is like kind of like the last pivot that I have. I also have this one down here, so I can mark these. These are small though. I'm really just kind of looking for demand to break. But this pivot, this bottom one, is the last one I have in for a while. NQ, I don't even have it. NQ, I have. I have some right here. I'll just mark them all out. Why not? ES, this is the last one I have. And my supply and demand went somewhere. I don't know where it went. It just disappeared. Let's fix that. Is it not going to come back? Hello? Did I not just click it? Oh, now there's two of them. All right, it's loading. So anyways, I did not mark out that second one, but I'm like, all right, if this If this invalidates, I'm in. Hang on, now I got to remove the forming zones. I don't want to see that. There we go. So bounce invalidates. I'm going to be back in. Half size in each or whatever. Spoiler, ES does end up flipping weaker. Almost enter here. I'm looking for it to get a little bit lower. I want that entire larger green candle to invalidate. It does not, which is good. I like a bigger bounce because that means I'm going to have a better entry. Looking really good. And now it's starting to look like, okay, NQ's back to being stronger than ES. Definitely stronger. And you can tell because look at this candle on NQ. 640 candle, it's way above it. 640 candle on ES, it's still below it. So ES is definitely weaker, and this is when I say, you know what, I'm also starting to eyeball QQQ calls, because if we keep coming back up to roughly here, this is an easy trade to this high, to this pivot right here. This is an easy trade. So if at any point it gets up here, easy trade. And as you guys can see on your charts right now, NQ did end up coming back up, and it was a gloriously easy trade to that pivot, but I was eating breakfast, and I don't trade at that time of day, so I was not in for it. But anyways, we end up falling back down, and I enter my SPX puts here. Wasn't quite full size. I wasn't half size either. I was just kind of planning on averaging up. NQ just kind of bugged me. I didn't really know if NQ wanted to drop it. I don't even think this invalidates like 50% of the run or the bounce. Yeah, it doesn't even do it. So I wasn't super confident in entering this, but I did alert it. Was triggered in, and it actually went great. So had a little bouncing there and was beautiful. And look where we bottomed, by the way. We swept this pivot perfectly. At this point, I literally only had one single runner contract left, and I sold it kind of halfway into this candle. Just because it's a good weekly demand right here on ES. I thought there was a decent chance that we get to that demand. But that was beautiful. But unfortunately, the puts only got 22%, which doesn't really make sense to me. I literally only made around 20% on this trade. No idea why. I mean, it was an absolute scam, to be honest. But it looks like I'm looking at the puts right now. They did get all the way to 3.6. I only got to sell at 3.3 though. So it looks like I also had a bad fill. So it looks like I got the 3.6 for roughly 30 something percent gains, like 32 to 35% gains. And I'm just looking on my Thinkorswim options chart right now, but I only got 3.3 for some reason. So yeah, I think I just got bad fills or whatever. Anyways, yeah, I only got like 20% on this trade, so that kind of sucked. And it's again, like the size of this drop. I mean, this is a big drop, so should not have only been 20% in my opinion. But this is where my day ended. 3 bright green days in a row, 2 days in a row of 100% accuracy, and just beautiful stuff. Pivots are being swept. We're getting good momentum out of open, and that is the perfect recipe for me to make money trading. So. And as you guys can see, that call trade ended up playing out on QQQ, so you guys could have easily taken that. But like I said, I'm only trading the first 30 minutes to 1 hour, and then I'm out of here. Makes it real easy on the psychology department. But with that being said, that was my morning. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of the trades I made or the hypotheses? Bree says I caught that trade. Yeah, I mean that's a great trade. If I were still trading 100% Bree, I would take it. That's why I was thinking about taking it during this bounce. That's an easy one. So I'm glad you made money on that. Is this weekly demand accurate? It is accurate. Very much so. All right, well, that is it. So I will save this recording and not forget to post it. You mental shit people, the spreadsheet should be finished today. It's just a lot to catch up on. And I think there's only like 1 or 2 people that still need me to pay them, and they are Zelle people, so that takes forever. But yeah, by the way, I have a meeting today at 10 o'clock. As you guys know, I trade my future strategy starting at 10:35 my time on the dot. So the close of the 10:30 candle in the 5 minute. So live trading may or may not be delayed. If it is delayed, fear not. I will, just like yesterday, I will alert you guys in advance if I'm gonna, or I'll do my best to I'll let you guys know in advance if I'm planning to take a trade right when I can and what that trade is. But keep in mind, it's been 4 green days in a row. It was 4 red days in a row before that. So starting to be due for a red day. So don't get greedy and be heavy for whatever reason. But all right, I will see you guys later. Good luck if you guys continue to trade, and I'll let you guys know when this recording is posted.